Welcome to Arrow on the Air. I'm Madison Abernathy, digital editor for The Arrow. Thanks for listening to The Arrow's news podcast, bringing you all the weekly updates on the stories you need to hear. To start off, the Redhawks played their only football game of the semester on October 30th at SIU. SEMO sponsored a watch party of the game at Houck Stadium. Dakayla Duckworth has more.
This year's War of the Wheel game wasn't the typical Friday night fans in the stands robbery. COVID not only has completely affected our day-to-day lives, but also the world of sports. SEMO football traveled to Southern Illinois with fan attendance limited to team families only. The athletic department made the effort to make sure game day was as normal as possible, hosting a watch party with free admission open to the public. Faculty, students, and fans gathered at Houck Field for a watch party to cheer on the SEMO football team against SIU. Despite not having as many fans in the stands, SEMO Marching Band helped raise the Redhawk spirit. The band performed their traditional outdoor performance before the start of the game and continued to play until the end. Although watching the game from the screen was unusual, students were just as excited. SEMO cheerleader Micaiah Jones says although she would rather cheer on the boys live from the sideline, she was happy to still have the opportunity to watch.
I really enjoyed watching the football game at Houck Stadium with a few of my friends. I thought SEMO did a really good job of allowing the students to cheer on their boys from home while still practicing social distancing. There was a nice amount of friends out there and students out there cheering on the boys. It really was just a good time to see the boys. It really sucks we lost, but I still thought it was great that SEMO gave us the opportunity to be able to watch.
This game will count towards the 2020 through 21 season record. For the Southeast Arrow, I'm Dakayla Duckworth.
Cape Girardeau's Parks and Recreation Department held their annual Haunted Hall of Horror with some changes due to COVID-19. Brooke Halford has the story.
The City of Cape Girardeau's Parks and Recreation Department held the 29th annual Haunted Hall of Horror at Arena Park throughout October. This year's Haunted Hall of Horror featured a maze-through themed rooms with creepy clowns, a 3D freak show, an asylum, animatronic dolls, and more. Event coordinator Cade Harrell said many Southeast students and organizations volunteered in the Haunted Hall of Horror. Southeast juniors Chloe Wind and Kayla Helterbrand volunteered to be actresses together. This was their second year volunteering in the Haunted Hall of Horror.
For me, I like kind of just the acting portion, getting to scare people and be something that you're not for a night, have fun while you're volunteering.
The Haunted Hall of Horror may have looked a little different this year, with actors wearing face masks and other preventative measures for COVID-19. But Harrell said the Parks and Rec department still wanted to give people the option to come out and have a scare this Halloween. Reporting from the Southeast Arrow, I'm Brooke Holford.
The women's basketball team hopes to start their season later this month. Ashley Ellis has the story.
The Southeast Missouri State University women's basketball team won the Ohio Valley Conference Tournament Championship over UT Martin in the 2019-20 season. They now have 8 returning players from last year's championship season to help guide the newcomers in the right direction. With the safety measures that have been implemented due to COVID-19, team practices have been limited, but head coach Rika Patterson has been pleased with how the returning players have guided the newcomers in practices.
Our coachability has been really good. I think our returners are showing our newcomers, how we practice, the pace, intensity, effort, focus that's required. And they're doing their best to display in practice the SEMO way, which is to play extremely hard, extremely tough, and together.
Although the team lost players with a lot of experience and leadership, Coach Patterson is not looking for any returning players or newcomers to be like, quote, what we lost. In other words, she only wants her and her players to figure out how each person can become their best self.
And bond and form into one. I like our individual pieces, and now it's about them melting into one healthy heartbeat and playing as one. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to being able to get on the court every day. That's, we haven't been able to do it in so long that there's an excitement in that because we missed it. Yeah, we're blessed to be able to do this every day. And so we're going to be grateful for every day that we get to be on the court.
Redhawks senior guard Tecia Thompson is among the returning players from the championship season Coach Patterson is looking to in leading the newcomers. Thompson led the team in points per game, and rebounds per game last season. Thompson said listening, not quitting, and, quote, showing them what effort looks like here are important parts for the newcomers' development in playing the SEMO way.
Definitely not quitting. Things are going to get hard. They're going to get tough. And here at SEMO, we do not allow quitters. Come with the mindset of, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep trying my hardest.
The Redhawks will begin their season in November. Reporting for the Southeast Arrow, I'm Ashley Ellis.
The Arrow won 6 awards at the ACP and CMA Virtual Convention. Arrow staff members attended the virtual Associated Collegiate Press and College Media Association National Convention on October 22nd through the 24th. At the convention, the staff received awards from both organizations, walking away with a total of 6. The Arrow was named a newspaper pacemaker finalist by ACP. The Arrow was the only newspaper in Missouri to be nominated and one of 46 nationally. On Friday the 23rd, design editor Allie Bremer was awarded a first-place CMA Pinnacle for Best Newspaper Feature Page or Spread for her Esme Gonzalez spread last year. According to former Arrow editor Zach Tate, this is one of the awards he's most proud of.
The one center spread, I really was proud of that one because it was the Esme one, and it was about a player that we had been following and covering for years. And then you were able to come in and write a really awesome story, and then our graphic designer was able to come in and do a really great job telling the story visually, and it looked beautiful.
The Arrow received 2 more Pinnacles, a first-place finish for Best Campus Engagement and a second-place finish for Best Social Media Strategy. In the ACP Best of Show Awards, the Arrow came in 3rd in the nation for Best Newspaper, 4-Year College, Less Than Weekly, and 3rd for Special Edition for the Budget Breakdown released by MC429 students last year. Basketball player Chris Harris partially tore his ACL in a practice last year and has been working to get back to the court since. Roman Holloway has more on his journey.
Junior guard Chris Harris was a bright spot for the Southeast basketball team last year before he partially tore his ACL during practice. Harris transferred to Southeast last year from John A. Logan College in Carterville, Illinois. He started off his Southeast basketball career with 2 impressive performances against Vanderbilt and Purdue-Fort Wayne. He drilled the game-winning three-pointer with 27 seconds left against Purdue-Fort Wayne. The following practice, Harris suffered a partially torn ACL that cut his season short. Harris was the team's leading scorer with 15.5 points per game at the time of his injury. During practice, he threw an alley-oop up to his teammate, and when he came down, Harris hyperextended his leg. This was the first real injury Harris has had to endure during his athletic career. When he initially tore his ACL, he wasn't thinking about his own health, but rather about his teammates and how they would be affected by his absence.
Man, I was really just concerned about my teammates in just the beginning of the season because I knew the impact that I had already had on them and the confidence that I had given them with my experience on the court.
Harris believes his injury actually helped him and was a blessing in disguise. He finally got to observe and study the game from the sideline.
And honestly, I think it was good for me. It made me actually sit because I've never actually sat out a season or sat on the bench and actually watched it. And it did a lot for me just seeing how slow the game really is and just, it helped me study the game. So I don't think it was all bad. I definitely think it was a blessing.
Despite the pandemic-related restrictions, the Redhawks have been training hard and the team is excited to get back on the court. Harris has extremely high expectations not only for himself but for the team too.
I mean, honestly, our goal, like I said before, is to go from worst to first. I mean, we've had all the tools necessary to do it. It's just about putting them together to achieve our goal.
Harris has been on the road to recovery, but now he's back working to lead the Redhawks to an OVC championship. Reporting for the Southeast Arrow, I'm Roman Holloway.
Be sure to follow the Southeast Arrow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as they prepare to cover the 2020 election. Coverage will start at 6 p.m. on November 3rd. Thanks for listening. This has been Arrow on the Air, part of the Arrow Podcast Network. Tune in again next week for more local news and feel free to visit southeastarrow.com/multimedia to hear more network podcasts.